From the very start of the show, Tony is introduced to us as a man caught between two worlds: the violent mobster identity that gives him power, and the fragile family man identity that makes him human. The Ducks become the perfect representation of that second identity. They come into his pool, and in a way, they bring his backyard, his domestic space, to life. He feeds them, he watches them, and he admits to Melfi that he feels proud, almost like a father. The Ducks become stand-ins for his own family, Carmela, Meadow, AJ, and when they leave, suddenly Tony feels the crushing realization that one day his family could leave too. His marriage could collapse, his kids could drift away, and at the end of it, he could be left with nothing. That fear of abandonment and loss of control is so overwhelming that it sends him to the ground with his first panic attack. Now, let's expand on that, because the Ducks don't just symbolize Tony's nuclear family, they symbolize his larger sense of home and belonging. Tony grew up with an emotionally unavailable, manipulative mother.
She was high-strung, my mother, very dramatic. And every night to her's a night at the opera.
And a father who was physically present but also involved in the mob.
Now that my father's dead, he's a saint. When he was alive, nothing.
His childhood wasn't warm or nurturing, and Tony admits in therapy that he never really felt safe or loved as a kid. So when he sees the Ducks in his pool, what he's really seeing is a fleeting glimpse of a family dynamic he never had. Innocent, wholesome, uncomplicated connection. He feels paternal, protective, maybe even peaceful in a way he almost never feels in his own house. The Ducks, ironically, make him feel like a real father in a way that his interactions with AJ don't, because AJ is distant and Meadow is growing up fast. The Ducks give Tony the illusion of control over family love, but when they leave, it rips that illusion away and throws him back into his deepest fear, being abandoned, just like he felt abandoned as a child. When the Ducks leave, the pool feels empty and lifeless, just like Tony feels inside. Later, we see Carmela and the kids by the pool. We see Tony staring into it. And even near the end of the series, the pool keeps reappearing as a reminder of that initial moment of loss. The Ducks make the pool into a sanctuary, a place where Tony feels like a caregiver instead of a destroyer. Without them, it's just another hollow luxury. Just like the house, just like the cars, just like all the money. The Ducks prove that material things don't actually give Tony meaning. Relationships do. And that's terrifying for him because relationships are fragile and beyond his control. And that's really the core of why the Ducks are so important. Tony is a man obsessed with control. In the mob, control is survival. You control territory, you control soldiers, you control money. Any slip, any show of weakness, and you risk being replaced or killed. But in his personal life, Tony can't control the things that matter most. He can't stop Meadow from growing up and going away to college. He can't stop AJ from drifting into laziness or rebellion. He can't even stop Carmela from considering leaving him, despite all the luxury he provides. The Ducks remind him that love and family can fly away at any time, and there's nothing he can do about it. That's why he collapses, because he suddenly realizes that the one arena where he wants control more than anywhere else, his family life, is the one place he will never truly have it. The Ducks are also about mortality. Tony's a man who lives in denial about death. He tells himself he's untouchable, that he can control outcomes, that he can always maneuver his way out of problems. But deep down he knows it's not true. Every mobster knows their end will come, either prison or death. The Ducks flying away remind him of the inevitability of change, of endings, of death itself. No matter how rich he gets, no matter how feared he is, he can't stop time. The Ducks force him to confront something he can't control, and that terrifies him more than rival mobsters ever could. What's fascinating is how this moment sets the tone for the entire series. The Sopranos isn't really about organized crime. It uses the mob world as a backdrop. But the show is about psychology, about the tension between the self we show to the world and the fears we carry deep inside. The Ducks establish that theme immediately. Tony isn't just a gangster. He's a man terrified of losing love, terrified of losing meaning, and terrified of facing death. Without the Ducks, the show might have been just another mob drama. With the Ducks, it becomes a study of the human condition. And if you track Tony's therapy sessions with Melfi, you'll notice that the Ducks come up again and again, not literally, but metaphorically.
When you first started therapy, you said that you had this dream about those ducks. They flew away with your penis. It was a bad omen, that something was going to happen in your family.
Every time Tony talks about losing respect, losing his marriage, or losing control of AJ, it's an echo of that first duck moment. The panic attacks don't stop. They're tied to his subconscious fear of abandonment, a fear rooted in both his childhood and his present life. The Ducks are the purest expression of that fear because they were innocent, they gave him joy, and they still left him. If even ducks can abandon him, then what about the people who matter most? It's also worth pointing out how ironic this is. In mob culture, weakness is death. You don't cry, you don't show fear, you don't admit panic. Yet here's Tony breaking down over ducks. The brilliance of The Sopranos is that it makes this both tragic and deeply human. We laugh at the absurdity. Tony Soprano crying about ducks? But then we realize we all have our ducks. We all have those little things that symbolize what we're really afraid of losing. And that's why the show resonates, because even though most of us aren't mob bosses, we understand Tony's pain. Finally, the Ducks connect to the ending of the show. Think about it. The series finale is all about uncertainty, about the possibility that death or loss can come at any second. The famous cut to black is the ultimate ducks flying away moment. Just like Tony couldn't stop the ducks from leaving, he can't stop fate from catching up to him. The ducks were the beginning, the cut to black is the end, and everything in between is Tony trying and failing to hold on to control. So why does Tony Soprano love ducks so much?
I don't know, it was just a trip having those wild creatures come into my pool and have their little babies.
Because they represent everything he wishes he could protect but can't. They represent his family, his sense of safety, his childhood longing for real love, and his desperate need for control in a world where control is just an illusion. When the ducks leave, Tony realizes that nothing lasts forever. Not family, not power, not life itself. And that realization terrifies him.
I don't feel nothing. Nothing. Dead. Empty.
That's why the ducks matter. That's why he cries. And that's why this small, almost silly detail ends up being one of the most profound symbols in television history.